This is Blaine with Stocks for Beer Trading, and we're looking at stocks on watch here for October the 10th. First one up is KEG, one of my favorite ticker symbols just because of the KEG word that it forms. Nonetheless, looking for a push over 713, today's high, basically to see if it can get higher. I liked how it had an up day in a relatively rough market. So one of the few stocks that had a decent up day. So watch for follow through over 713. If it goes, it should at least get 720, if not more. There's a little gap to fill towards 760, so just keep that in mind. SVNT, I'm looking at two potential plays from this. If it comes out of this little downtrend, I'm looking to probably take it long, see if it can get a run out of it. Otherwise, if it breaks below about 215, it might be worth shorting back below 2. TZYM, interesting chart, relatively light volume though comparatively to what I normally trade, but I mean it has been increasing a little bit, so if it continues to increase and can get through 480, I wouldn't be surprised to see it test 5 and 525, which are the resistance levels from previous moves. Let me pull up the 1-year chart here, so you can see 480 right there is what I'm looking at for the 480 break. So then you can kind of see there's going to be resistance at 520. So at least to 5, if not 520. I think this thing is set up to make us some money if it can bust through 480 though. More about this in chat. Radio Shack, RSH, I'm watching to see if it can get a push through 240. If it does, it might be worth taking it long for a day trade or even a swing trade if it can continue to move higher and close near the high of day. HOLL, Hollywood Media, looking at about 145. If it can get through 145, I wouldn't be surprised to see it pop towards 150 if the volume's there. It's got to have relatively strong volume as it did today. That to me will signal more bullishness and buyers willing to take it higher, and I might even be willing to jump on the train myself then too. So keep this one in mind. I'll talk about this one more in chat, but it's got to have that volume and continuation over 145. JRCC, I wouldn't be surprised to see this test 360 tomorrow, just because it's the previous resistance from past support slash peaks. So I'm looking for a quick day trade towards 360, and if it can get maybe a pullback after testing that spot and then break through it later, it might be good for another push towards 4. Time will tell, and again I'll cover this in chat as it happens. Obviously room to the upside here. I like this coming off bottom chart. Mentioned it over 3 back in August and September, and it got a nice little push there. So it can definitely be a profitable trader. Just gotta make sure you sell on the way up. MY, little Chinese POS stock, but nice little coming off bottom chart. I think it might get a push towards 140 or 150. I'm already in this stock, so I mean if it comes out the gate and gets a strong push, I'll probably be looking to take profit right away. But so don't be a chaser. But definitely keep this one in mind. If it opens weak and then starts to go, then you might want to take it long. Or if it gets a nice dip on it, then it might be worth taking a few just in case it decides to go towards 140 or 150. Reed finally broke and closed above 7. Watch for a follow through over 742 or a dip back towards 7, with the stop loss being probably you're gonna have to give it some risk down to 680 or so to see if it can get a bounce if it does fall below 7. But as always, keep a tight stop just in case. I still think Reed goes a little bit higher from here though. FST, I mentioned this back in August to watch for the A break, and it finally went here in September and went $1.30 or so, peaked about 930. So now I'm watching to see if it can get through 930. It needs to bust through 9 and then 930. If it does that, I wouldn't be surprised to see it get a push towards 10 from previous highs, or even 1050. This is kind of a interesting little support level there that broke down and then fell off. So As you can see, 9 is going to be some resistance, and then 930 from this peak, and then it has room towards about 10 or 1050. Of course, I gotta mention the OTC stock PWEI. This is being promoted by the Victory Mark Group. Their biggest list is preferred penny stocks. I'm basically suggested not playing this at all today. I just told people to watch and see what it does, because these past few promotions have just been absolutely terrible. So, other than the volume, I mean, the volume is still there, but the stocks just don't go up. They're just selling everything right off the bat and not giving anything any time to work, really. Especially this group here, they were the same group that did RARS, and it got like one good day out of it and then fell off. So I did mention scalping it here about 18, but that was it. It just wasn't worth the trade. Although if it gets through 22 tomorrow, it might be worth scalping, just for a few cents, just to see if it can get a little push. Obviously, it might go higher than that. It might go all the way to 30 or something crazy, but if it gets through 22, I might just take it for a quick scalp for a penny or two. So obviously more about this in chat, and this will be the riskiest play of the day, of course, because at any moment they could dump, 50, 100 million shares, however many they got. This is obviously being promoted for a reason, so somebody's looking to sell. Anyway, that is the watch list for October the 10th. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I will see you in the chat room. Oh, I did post a few more charts on the OTF, just penny stock forum, and then mentioned a few others in the watch list for Wednesday. Didn't cover it here in the video, but I just mentioned a couple other tickers like TAAG and SAPX, so I'll talk about those more in chat tomorrow. Nonetheless, have a good day.